Good morning, participants. Welcome to all of you here in online training program on environment safety need of the day. I am Dr. Suren Gautam. Today I am here with the lecture on agriculture and environment where we will discuss the climate change impacts on agriculture and food security. At the start of this lecture, to explain the climatic change impact on agriculture, we need to understand the link between agriculture and environment. Environmental condition playing a main role on agricultural production and practices, but agriculture places a serious burden on the environment in the process of providing humanity with food and fibers. It is the largest consumer of water and the main source of nitrate pollution of groundwater and surface water. It is also a major contributor to the release of the powerful greenhouse gases like methane and nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases show the second major negative impact after the negative effect of greenhouse gases which created by the using of the fossil fuels. There is an evidence the main reason for the destruction of forest land is to obtain agricultural land. As a result of agricultural land obtaining, greenhouse gases are created at the same time. In 2002, Food and Agriculture Organization of UN reported that forests collect carbon 20 to 40 times more than agricultural lands, and most of the carbon is released into atmosphere when forest has been destroyed to open agricultural land. So these environmental impact are the result of intensification of agriculture, which signifies unsustainable resource use and use of modern inputs such as chemicals and machinery. Water, soil, air and biodiversity are the common domains for all agricultural practices, and any environmental impact resulting from agriculture would reflect in these domains. As environmental condition affect to agriculture practices also have effect on environment. Ultimately, the global environment is changing day by day, and now it has become a challenge to living forms due to the very ugly fact that every nation is trying to develop without taking into consideration the environmental impact of degradation and pollution of agricultural lands. As results, the global climate will change with rapid increase in temperature due to greenhouse effect, which is called global warming. So, the aim of this presentation is to understand the climate change and its causes, which also highlights how climate change affects agroecosystem and how agriculture sectors contribute to climate change through greenhouse gas emissions. So now, to understand what climate change really means, it is important to first differentiate between weather and climate. Weather is the state of atmospheric conditions at a particular place and time. It is dynamic and can change within a very short period of time, even within the same day. But climate, it is the set of weather conditions prevailing in an area over a long time, typically 3 consecutive decades. The most common aspects of weather are felt by everyone during the course of a day. It includes rain, humidity, wind, sunshine, cloudiness and temperature, but also include extreme events such as tornadoes, droughts and tropical cyclones. But there are several factors contributed to the definition of climate, including long-term averages of temperature and precipitation, but also the type, frequency, duration and intensity of weather events such as heat waves, cold spells, storms, floods and drought. Other than weather and climate, now the another phenomena, climate variability. Climate variability is the natural fluctuation within the climate, including swings above and below the mean state and other parameters. It reflects the different weather conditions over a day, month, season or year. For example, if we consider rainfall in a given period in a particular region of the world, the variability can be low. It means that there is not much difference in quantity or timing of rains from one year to another. Similarly, in another region, there may be high variability, which meaning that rainfall quantity swings from far below average to far above average from year to year, and the timing is unpredictable. So climate variability affects weather conditions including cyclone activity and temperature as well as rainfall. It results from natural internal processes within the climate system from variation in natural external forces such as volcanic eruptions. Now with this two figure we can easily observe and understand the difference between climate variability and climate change with the trend over a time scale which indicates a change in climate. Figure A1 shows climate variability averages out as climate over years in a steady state, means while fluctuation over shorter terms such as days, season, years or several years and in cycle is climate variability. Which shows a consistent linear trend will define climate change as pattern shift over decades. Figure A2 shows climate change averages out to a changing trend over decades. It means the changes is detected when the long term pattern of climate variability and the mean exhibits significant measurable changes. For example, on average the climate gets warmer or cooler or wetter or drier over decades. After knowing climatic change, we also understand the global warming with a significant changes in climate with a suitable examples and reports. The Earth's climate has always been changing due to natural causes that include widespread volcanic activity and oscillation in the planet's rotational and orbital cycles. However, scientists have been measuring trends in higher average global temperature that are happening much faster than observed previously and that cannot be attributed to natural cause. Instead, scientists conclude this longer term warming is anthropogenic, meaning that it is caused by human activities. For this reason, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climatic Change defines climate change as change of climate that is attributed directly or indirectly to human activity that alters the composition of the global atmosphere and that is in addition to natural climate variability observed under comparable time periods. In this figure, the Goddard Institute for Space Studies shows that concentration of compounds that trap heat in the atmosphere called greenhouse gases have increased substantially since the beginning of the industrial era. Around the year 1715, industrial scale production began and led to the global increase in use of fossil fuels that emit greenhouse gases when burned. Over the period from 1880 to 2012, the planet warmed by an average of 0.85 degrees Celsius temperatures, and they are expected to continue rising between 0.3 degrees Celsius to 4.8 degrees Celsius by 2100, depending on different possible conditions. Each of last 3 decades from 1981 to 1990, 1991 to 2000 and 2001 to 2010 has been successively warmer at the Earth's surface than any decade since measurement began. The warmest decade over measured was 2001 to 2010 and 2016 was the warmest year on record, with a 1.1 degrees Celsius increase from pre-industrial level. Although these may seem to be a small changes seem against long-term observation of stable condition, the changes is clear in the figure. This long-term global warming produces climate changes at regional and smaller scale with important repercussion for the planet's ecosystem. In this slide, we can understand the cause of climate change and examines the greenhouse effect. So what is the greenhouse effect? In figure, you can see that and understood what is the greenhouse effect and what are the causes. Energy from the sun arriving as ultraviolet radiation drives the earth's weather and climate. It heats the Earth's surface, land, and oceans, which in turn heat the atmosphere as infrared radiation. Most of the energy is radiated back into space, but some is trapped in the ground, the ocean, and the atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere consists mainly of nitrogen, oxygen, and argon, which have no effect on climate. It also contains small amounts of other gases, including water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, called greenhouse gases, because they act like the glass in a greenhouse. They block heat from escaping, allowing the atmosphere to warm up. The atmosphere, in turn, further warms the ground and the ocean. This is known as the greenhouse effect. Earth's natural greenhouse effect make life as we know it possible, otherwise it would be too cold for human life. As we have seen in the previous slide, it has been observed that the earth is getting warmer. This is due to an increasing concentration of greenhouse gases that trap heat in the atmosphere caused by human activities since the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th century. The Earth's atmosphere contains a number of greenhouse gases in different concentration. These major greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, fluorinated gas, methane, nitrous oxide, and it also includes water vapor. Water vapor is water that evaporates from the sea, lakes, rivers, and the soil surface, and that is transpired by plants and often felt as a humidity. Human activity makes little direct contribution to the large amount of water vapor or clouds in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide gas can be found in nature produced by volcanoes and geysers. It is emitted by human activities. It including transport and energy production based on combustion engines, burning fossil fuels such as coal, mineral oil, gas. All animals exhale it through respiration, as do plants at night where they are not photosynthesizing. It also enters the atmosphere through the decay of organic matter, deforestation, burning vegetation, and certain industrial processes such as cement making. Methane gas enters the atmosphere when produced by livestock as well as by microbes in the soil and in water such as flooded rice fields. Methane is released when permanently frozen ground thaws in mountains and polar regions and when wetland, marshes, swamps, bogs and peatlands are dried. Fluorinated gas are made by human and used in refrigerator, air conditioning, foams, cosmetics and fire extinguishers. Nitrous oxide is produced by farming, including organic and synthetic fertilizer applications, industrial processes, and burning fossil fuels. This nitrous oxide considered as a greenhouse gas, but the another nitrogen oxygen compound like nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide are pollutants. They are emitted by motor vehicle. They cause respiratory problems but do not cause global warming. As in carbon dioxide equivalents, IPCC decides the different greenhouse gases have different effects depending on their concentration in the atmosphere, their ability to alter the radiation balance, and their amount of time they remain in the atmosphere. To allow comparison of the global warming impacts on different gases, it uses global warming potential as a resource to represent the combined effect of the differing time these substances remain in the atmosphere and their effectiveness in causing radiative forcing. The larger the global warming potential, the higher the warming effect of a given compared to carbon dioxide over a time period, usually in terms of 100 years. For example, 1 ton of methane is equivalent to 25 tons of carbon dioxide. while 1 tons of nitrous oxide is equivalent to 298 tons of carbon dioxide. So these are the major greenhouse gases. Now, what are the main sources of greenhouse gases in economic sectors? Human activities play an important role in the emission of greenhouse gases. The amount of carbon dioxide released by each country depends on the type and share of its main economic activities. Therefore, the shares of carbon dioxide emissions are different across the region of the world. The latest estimate by IPCC in 2014, the greenhouse gas emission from human activities totaled more than 46 billion metric tons of greenhouse gases expressed as carbon dioxide equivalents, representing a 35% increase over the previous decade. This figure shows the global greenhouse gas emission by different economic sectors. You can clearly see that with the 25%, the electricity and heat production represent the biggest source of greenhouse gas emission globally, mainly due to the burning of coal, oil, and natural gases. Agriculture, forestry, and other land use sectors are the second most important source of emission, which is responsible globally for around 24% of emission. Other sectors include industry that accounts for 21% of all emission, transport such as road vehicles, trains, ships, and aircrafts running on fossil fuels accounting for 14%, other energy sources accounting for 9.6%, and buildings accounting for 6.4%. Now, climate change and agriculture. To understand the relationship between climate change and agriculture, it does so by reviewing some possible effects that a changing climate could have on the agro ecosystem and how ultimately this affects the agricultural development. To understanding the effect of climate change on ecosystem is important to the design of policies and adaptation strategies. The table shows the example of effect of climate change on several aspects of human life and ecosystem. For the ocean ecosystem, there are climatic changes are sea level rise, acidification, marine oxygen concentration, and increased temperature. Due to the melting ice sheets and glaciers, the sea level rises and that flood low-lying areas during high tides and storms, island, coastal cities, and farmland near the sea. Due to the dissolved carbon dioxide in maximum amount into the seawater, it makes it more acidic, which is also harming for marine life. Due to this cause, the oxygen level is also low in marine water, which affects the marine life, and it can lead the changes in distribution of the species. And increased temperature into the marine water, so different type of plants, corals, and animals that can live in each location, and that location will be changed, and several aquatic species will migrate due to the warmer water temperatures. There is another example in climate change of natural resources of freshwater, vegetation, wildlife, biodiversity, forest, grassland, deserts. So this will be affected due to the global warming. So supplies of fresh water of drinking, domestic use, and irrigation may decline, and rivers, springs, wells may dry up as air temperatures increases. Similarly, agroecological zones or vegetation are shifting. Tree and plant ranges are moving polewards and up mountain slopes due to the temperature variations. So the wildlife areas in which animals live are changing. Some animals and plants are moving towards cooler places or higher altitudes. The area of some species may expand, other will shrink. biodiversity of the animals and plants is likely to be declined, that will affect the stability of ecosystem. The area suited to forest and grassland is changing. Some area desert are expanding, risk of forest fires are increasing, other areas are getting wetter, encouraging the growth of some species. And due to this climatic change, extinction occurs. Up to one quarter of the world's species as their habitats declines. The ice sheets of Antarctica and Greenland is ongoing melt, which causes the sea level rise. There are some receding and disappearing glaciers which can disrupting the quantity and timing of river flows. Human health is also affected by the climatic change as an increase in temperature. Some type of disease such as malaria, diarrhea and dengue fever may become more widespread due to the reliable pathogen activity in the higher temperature, and their reproduction rate is high, and this climate condition supporting that pathogen to cause diseases to the human. And due to the high temperature in air, heat waves produced, and that heat waves is a period of extreme high temperature are increasing in intensity and frequency, putting increasing number of people at risk. It means those people who is susceptible for high temperature, they can easily affected by these heat waves. Society and economy is also affected by this climate change, as migration, some confliction, poverty condition and loss of economy. So the changes are forcing people to move from one place to another to support themselves. Some people may move within countries or across international boundaries. Those who have moved to coastal areas will likely be displaced again by risk in the rising sea level. The competition for resources as a confliction such as water and food fuels availability. Some people are less able to adjust than others. Poverty levels are likely to be increased, and the economy is also affected by climate change, because the business and the economy is indirectly or directly affected. There is some report which shows that could cost between 5 and 20% of the annual gross domestic product is affected by the climate change. In the previous slide, the table shows the climate change effect on several aspects of human life and ecosystem. So bearing in mind that climate impacts are highly site specific. Now in this slide, some of the possible effects of climate change on agroecosystem includes the increased variability and unpredictability of weather and climate events. For example, changes in seasonal rainfall variability, high rainfall variation such as longer dry periods, higher or lower temperatures, heat waves and others. The other effects is changes in timing of seasons. For example, some areas are witnessing an earlier arrival of spring that affects the lives of migratory animals, but also planting periods and wet seasons start late or finish early. Another effect is dry spells that affects crops at different points in the growing season. Alteration in land suitability for agricultural production or grazing. The other effect is increased intensity of extreme weather events such as sudden downpours and windstorms, droughts, floods, cyclones, and increased pest and disease outbreaks, which means that may be cause emergence of new disease, and different pests are arise as adaptation with the new climatic conditions. So these are the possible effects on agroecosystems. Now, the impacts of climate change on agriculture. In the figure, you can see the how climate change affects the agriculture. The agriculture sectors, including crops, livestock, forestry, fishery, and aquaculture, are highly dependent on climate stability. Temperature increases lead to a number of consequences affected the whole of ecosystem and human activities. Higher temperatures not only melt ice that discharge waters into the ocean, but warmer water expands, the resulting rising sea levels, food, low-lying areas, especially at high tide and during storm. Island coastal cities and farmland close to the sea are particularly at risk. Moreover, as sea temperature gets warmer, many types of plants, corals, and animals will be affected. Rainfall is becoming more variable and unpredictable. This may cause water shortage, shorter growth periods, and more frequent flooding and droughts. Some areas may become unsuitable for farming, while other areas, such as those at higher latitudes and altitudes but with more fragile soils, may become farmable. Key climate related repercussion for each agricultural subsector can be explained. Consequences which leads by temperature increase in climate shows impact on crops. So these changes in temperature and rain patterns as well as the frequency and intensity of weather events have significant consequence for crop production and will reduce yield of some staple crops such as wheat, rice and maize. In some regions where cool temperatures are currently constraining crop growth, an increase in temperature and CO2 levels may increase plant growth and yields. However, in temperate and tropical regions, excessive temperatures and precipitations could harm crops and reduce yields, posing serious challenges for farmers to ensure productivity. This increasing temperature can damage the physical structure of soil while increasing erosion and affecting soil fertility. It is also estimated that in the medium of long-term climate-related changes will lead to negative effects on yields, effects that are likely to accelerate. These effects will be more severe in lower than uh, at higher latitudes. The negative effect on yield of crop production is projected in table as example. This table shows in two columns. First is event, second is potential effect. So there are different events which shows potential effect in the crop production. First, cold periods, which is becoming warmer and shorter over most land areas, days and nights becoming hotter. So it shows the potential effect as increased yields in colder environments, decreased yields in warmer environments, increased outbreaks of new insect, pests and pathogens, potential impact on crop production. Now second event is the heavy precipitation events increasing in frequency over most areas. It shows the potential effect as damage to crops, soil erosion, inability to cultivate land owing to waterlogging of soils. Third event is drought affected area which is increases rapidly. It shows the land degradation and soil erosion, lower yield from crop damage and failure, loss of arable land. The another event is intense tropical cyclone activity which is increases also, which directly causes the damage on crops. The another extreme event is that the extremely high sea level increase in incidence excludes tsunamis. So it shows the potential effect as a salinization of irrigation water. Estuaries and freshwater system and loss of arable land. So depending on these scenario is used by researcher and estimate that with no adoption, the report shows the maize yield could decrease by up to 45%, wheat by 50%, rice by 30% and soybean by 60%. This compared with simulation that do not include climate change. This report was sourced by FAO in 2016. Climate change impact on livestock. The effects of climate change on livestock combine direct effects on animal productivity and health and on the quantity and quality of pastures and animal feeds. This increased variability in precipitation can lead to waterlogged ground and to shortage of drinking water, increased vulnerability to disease to the livestock. These higher temperatures causes heat stress and make animal less resistant to pathogen. It translates into the reduced feed intake, unhealthy states, lower rates of reproduction and productivity as well higher mortality rates in the livestock, which can also result in changes in the distribution of diseases. This figure shows how does climate change affect livestock keepers and production. Here in left side you can see there are three climatic change events. First is increment of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and increased temperature and variability in rainfall. So these three events how affects the animals, forage and feed crops and labor force, we can see that. So in case of animal, the higher concentration of carbon dioxide and higher temperature causes heat stress, which is the having potential effect on decreased food intake and livestock yields. It decreased consumption rates. It also altered the metabolism and increased mortality. Due to this event, due to this climate change event, it is also vulnerable for diseases by increased pathogen and parasites and vectors activity and decreased resistance of livestock and new diseases are adapted for the environmental conditions. So due to all this kind of heat stress and disease vulnerability, the domestic biodiversity loss occurs. But in case of variable rainfall, the shortage of drinking and servicing of water to the livestock, so due to that condition it is also make livestock for susceptible for different disease as similar into the below conditions. Now these three climatic change event is also affect the forage and feed crops. So we can see that the higher concentration of carbon dioxide is partially the higher concentration of carbon dioxide is causing in plant to shows the partial stomata closure and reduce transpiration. So due to this changes, the posture composition will be changed into the forage crops. The higher temperature also decrease the yields, decrease forage quality and posture composition, and the variability in rain is also affected as an potential effect on the yield and forage quality, posture composition, the species communities of forage crops, feed crops, changes in production system. So these are the potential effect. So in case of the labor force and capital, it is affected the three events, but only higher increment of temperature and variable rain condition is altered the human health, resources allocation of livestock, and decrease the productivity of livestock. The natural migratory livestock can migrate from one place to the another due to the conflict of resources. So these are the overall climate change effect on livestock keepers and production. Now the climate change impact on fisheries and aquaculture. The capture fisheries and aquaculture system will suffer from higher water temperatures and oxygen deficiency that lead to changes in the productivity patterns of the aquatic animals. In the oceans, sharp variation in climate trends will change the habitats of aquatic animals as well as the composition of fish species. Some of them are already migrating poleward to higher latitudes, leading to a dramatic drop of fish species in the tropics projected for the next decades. Some coral reef systems are at increased risk due to the combination of rising seawater temperatures and ocean acidification. So ultimately, the life form in the ocean is in at risk. Forestry also poses the negative impact of climate change. So this climate change impedes productivity of forest through drought and temperature stress. The increased wind and water erosion, more frequent for forest fires, pest and disease outbreaks, landslides and avalanches, as well as shift in the ranges of forest plants and animals and in the timing of their biological rhythm. The changes in precipitation also shows the different patterns which increase stream mortality and decrease productivity of orchard plantations and forests through heat and drought stress. They show pest outbreaks and fire disturbance. The model predicts that most tree species will shift to higher altitude at rates faster than they occur naturally. This in turn can harm ecosystem of the forest communities as component plants and animals may be slower to shift range upslope. Additionally, it is elevated level of carbon dioxide are another issue. The given sufficient levels of water and soil nutrients, carbon dioxide increases that will make trees more productive, but in the presence of poor quality soils due to the soil erosion or due to the higher wind condition which flow away the fertile soil from the forest area. So it can decline a plant growth and occur of influencing the complex forest ecosystem which is at risk. The effect of genetic resources is another major negative impact of climatic change. This change is one of the key drivers in the loss of genetic resources in food and agriculture, including plants, animals, forests, aquatic resources, invertebrates, and microorganisms. The raw material that local communities and researchers rely on to improve the quality and output of the fruit production, but in particular, changing climate threatens the survival of strategic reservoir of crop and livestock genetic resources. It needed to adapt production system to future challenges. Some varieties of plants and animal breeds may be lost forever if conservation steps are not taken. As we have seen in previous slides, agricultural, forestry, other land use sectors are important source of greenhouse gas, accounting for at least 20% of total emission, mainly from the conversion of forests to farmland and farm agriculture production. So the greenhouse gases of particular relevance to the agriculture sectors include carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide. The carbon dioxide gas results from conversion of forest and grassland into agricultural land, soil degradation, fuel consumption for farm machinery. Electricity consumption for irrigation system and fertilizer production is also a source of carbon dioxide. In case of methane, it results from enteric fermentation through the digestion process of ruminants such as cattle, sheep, and goats. And it is also released from the rice cultivation practices through the microbial activity, particularly flooded rice system. Biomass burning, destruction of peatlands, and manure management are the other further sources of methane emissions. Now, the nitrous oxide, it results mainly from the application of synthetic and organic fertilizers to soil in agricultural system. Also, biomass burning, manure management, and soil carbon mineralization are the another source of the nitrous oxide emission. So these are the three main important, or you can say three main major greenhouse gases are the emitted to the environment by the agriculture sectors. This is a global picture of greenhouse gas emission from the agriculture sectors, excluding forestry. It shows the diversity of sources, and if we look at the single agriculture activities, the most significant contribution of greenhouse gas emission is enteric fermentation. It is the major source of methane emission. Some other important sources include manure left on the pasture at 16%, and the use of chemical fertilizer, it is about 12%, and rice cultivation at 10%. So this data which shows the emission are different according to different regions of the world. Now when we will discuss the main sources of greenhouse gas emission from agriculture, so we can see the major emission from the enteric fermentation. So that emission consisting of methane gas, and this gas produced in the digestive system of ruminants and to a lesser extent of non-ruminants. So as we seen in the figure, the 40% of greenhouse gas emitted from this agricultural source. Now the second is the manure left on pasture. It also emitted greenhouse gases, and this pasture is consist of nitrous oxide gas from nitrogen additions, and it is made by grazing livestock to managed soils with the fertilizers. So it contributed 60% of greenhouse gas emission from agriculture. Now the third position in synthetic fertilizers, they emit the gases from synthetic fertilizers consisting of nitrous oxide, and this gas from this synthetic nitrogen addition to managed soils. So that synthetic fertilizer is also the source of nitrous oxide. It contributed 12% of greenhouse gas emission. Fourth one is the rice cultivation. That rice cultivation consisting of methane gas from, and the anaerobic decomposition of organic matter in paddy fields are the releasing this methane gas, and it contributed 10% of gas emission. Now the further manure management, it consists of methane and nitrous oxide both gases, and they can emitted through the aerobic and anaerobic manure decomposition processes. It contributed 7% of emission of greenhouse gas in agriculture. Now burning savanna, it consists of methane and nitrous oxide gases both from biomass combustion. It contributed 4% emission, and the crop residues, it consisted of nitrous oxide gas which is deriving from the decomposition of nitrogen in crop residue. It contributed 4% of greenhouse gas emission into the greenhouse gas emission from the agriculture. So overall you can see that in the figure So these are the major sources of greenhouse gas emission in the agricultural sector. However, it is important to note that agriculture, forestry, other land use sectors are also playing as a key role in removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere and contributing to balance the global carbon cycle. So when aiming to reduce the negative contribution of these sectors to climate change, it is essential to target greenhouse gas emission level as well as to increase carbon sequestration in an integrated manner. So the process and activities that emit and remove greenhouse gases from carbon pools are called source and sink respectively, and this is intergovernmental panel on climate change which define them as source and sink. So what is source? Source is any process, activity or mechanism that release a greenhouse gas, an aerosol or a precursor of a greenhouse gas or aerosol into the atmosphere. And the sink, it is any process, activity or mechanism that removes a greenhouse gas, an aerosol or a precursor of a greenhouse gas or aerosol from the atmosphere. So these are the definition as a source of sink by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. These source and sinks are shown in the figure. You can see properly how can they interrelated. So source and sinks are interrelated in agricultural activities. Cattle digestions, fertilizers and animal waste cause emissions to the atmosphere, mostly methane and nitrous oxide. So while the growing forest or above ground biomass benefiting from the associated nutrients has the capacity to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it in its organic matter. So this is the interrelationship between source and sink. Now the climate change and food security. So ensuring food security for a growing global population is one of the greatest challenges of our time. After looking at the effects of climate change on ecosystem in previous slides, now focus on the concept of food security, and it provides a definition of its four dimensions. You will also be exposed to a framework to understand how climate related risks cause direct and indirect consequences to food security. Food security is the result of an efficient food system, including all the activities related to production, distribution, and consumption of food that finally affect human nutrition and health. So, the four dimensions of food securities we can see an efficient food system positively contributes to all the four dimensions of food security. They are: first is availability of food, second is access of food, third is utilization of food, and fourth is stability of food security. So we will define food security as the food security exists when all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. These definitions of food security implicitly identifies availability, access, utilization and stability as four essential pillars, while the nutritional dimension is integral to the concept of food security. Now in this slide, the figure shows the four dimension of food security. Here we can see in a descriptive way as a flow chart of the food security with their dimension. So the first dimension or pillar of the food security is the availability of food. It means the supply side of food security. The sufficient quantities of quality food must be present in a given area, either supplied by domestic agriculture, production or imported from abroad. For example, food is available and people can find it in markets or purchase it from producers and traders. Now, the second pillar or dimension of food security is the economic and physical access of food. So, whether the households or individuals have enough resources to access through purchase, production, or other means, the appropriate quantity of quality food access depends on several socio-economic factors, including income and food prices. For example, a sharp increase in food prices may lead poor households, mainly net food buyers, to buy less food and a low quality food since their income availability has decreased. It is important to notice that men and women within the same household or community might have different access to markets and traders, which affects their access to available food. Now, the third pillar is the food utilization. It means the how much food is eaten and what and how people eat. The general hygiene and sanitation, water quality, healthcare practices, and food safety and quality are determinants of good food utilization by the body. The sufficient energy and nutrient intake by individual is the result of good care and feeding practices, food preparation, diet diversity, and intra-household distribution of food. This food utilization combined with the good biological utilization of food consumed, and this determines the nutritional status of individuals. So, for example, in food utilization, the suppose there is a Mekong River has a faced environmental degradation due to the multiple sources of pressure such as rapid population growth, industrialization, and intensive agricultural development. So, water quality is becoming dramatically degraded from upstream to the downstream in many parts of the basin. So, this threatens animals, ecosystem, and human health since this water source is intensively used for drinking, irrigation, and domestic services. Now, fourth dimension is the stability of food security. The stability of security explains the stability of the other three pillars, where people cannot be considered food secure until there is a stability of availability, accessibility, and proper food utilization conditions. The stability of food security recognizes that people's food security situation may change. It also emphasizes the importance of having to reduce the risk of adverse effects on the other three dimensions. In the example of food security is that adverse weather conditions can affect food security due to some natural oscillation which produces changes of surface temperature in the tropical Pacific Ocean, leading to various extreme weather events. And depending on the phases of the oscillation, weather conditions may include increase in rainfall, tropical cyclones, droughts, and flood. So means the food stability can be also threatened by political instability or economic factors which affect people's food security and nutrition status. So these are the main four pillars of, or you can say the four dimension of the food security, which is interrelated to each other. So that can define what is food security. So except these four pillar of the food security, there is another dimension, is the time dimension of food security. So the time dimension is also an important factor in relation to food security. In fact, there are important differences in how the duration and in severity of food insecurities affects livelihoods. So understanding these variations is important since various factors influences the choice of intervention to address food insecurity concerns. So what are the duration in time dimension? The household suffers inadequate food consumption for different periods of time. So this may vary from a short-term transitory experience to a long-term chronic condition. So we can differentiate the short-term and long-term transitory experience in the next slide. So this table shows the differences between the chronic and transitory food security. So the chronic food security shows in a red arrow and transitory food insecurity shows in a gray arrow with a red dot. So it means there are some interchanges in the transitory insecurities. So the chronic food security is long term or persistent, but transitory food insecurity are short term and temporary. In some cases it is unpredictable. The chronic food security occurs when people are unable to meet their minimum food requirements over a sustained period of time. But transitory food insecurity occurs when sudden inability to produce or access enough food to maintain a good nutritional status. So the causes of chronic food security is that the extended periods of poverty, lack of asset and inadequate access to productive or financial resources, or climate shocks. But the cause of transitory food insecurity is that short-term shocks and fluctuation in food availability and access, including year-to-year variations in domestic food production, food prices and household incomes. Ultimately, in the response of chronic food insecurity, its response measures the typical long-term development measures also used in addressing poverty, such as education or access to productive resources. So the chronically the food insecure for the people, they may need more direct access to food to enable them to raise their productive capacity. So in the transitory food insecurity, the response measures as the transitory food insecurity is often relatively unpredictable, thus making planning and programming is more difficult. It is also require a different capacity and types of interventions, including early warning capacity and safety net programs. So these are the main differences in between the chronic food security and transitory food insecurity. Now we can see the impact of climate change on food security and nutrition. The climate change directly affects agriculture production in terms of both quantity and quality. It means the lower crop yields or poorer nutrients in harvested crops, which also have deficiency that puts food security at risk. The lower crop yields means the less availability of primary food items in the markets, which resulting in higher food prices that are especially damaging for poor households. So the higher prices are particularly negative for net buyer agriculture producers households. They are those who buy more food on the market than they sell for a given season or year. So the net seller households are those that sell more food on the market than what they buy will also be negatively affected by adverse climatic shocks. Since their livelihood strongly relies on agriculture and producing their own food, lower agriculture production means less quantity and quality of food, and this will jeopardize their food security. The lower agriculture incomes will weaken seller livelihoods. For instance, they will spend all available income on food while non-food consumption will be dramatically reduced, increasing their vulnerability. To understanding the consequence of climate change for food security is a challenging task and further complicated because the vulnerabilities and capacities of male and female agricultural producers to respond to risk are unevenly distributed across families and their communities and cultures. So when designing The climate smart intervention to reducing the impact of climate change, it may be a useful to assess how climate change can have direct or indirect effects on all four pillars of the food security and nutrition. Now we see the direct or indirect effects on all four pillars of food security and nutrition. So in food availability, the climate change affects food production directly by adding additional stress to agro ecosystem, as well as indirectly by driving social and economic changes that influence the demand for agriculture products. As a consequence of change in climatic conditions, both crop yields and availability of arable land and water resources are often affected. For instance, the agriculture production of some staple crops is already shifting, especially at tropical latitudes. Furthermore, changes in the suitability of land for crop production may undermine farmers' the capacity to plant and ensure sufficient production for their own and their own family's consumption, with different outcomes for men and for women. So, the effect on the food access, the climate change reduces access to food through hardship for rural incomes and livelihoods. For more frequent and more intense storm will lead to more climate related natural disaster in the absence of dedicated disaster reduction and recovery programs. The natural disaster and climate shocks are not only have short term consequences but by reducing current incomes, but can also cause assets losses that erode future income earning capacities. When the effects of climate change are particularly severe, households may decide to follow negative coping strategies that includes selling their productive assets to buy food, taking children out of school, or over exploiting lands and forests. The productive assets that are commonly sold in these circumstances include livestock, farm equipment, vehicles, looms, and food processing utensils. So, all these negative coping actions leave the household even more vulnerable and prone to long term poverty and might have different consequences for men and women, and for specific types of households, such as those headed by females or with disabled family members. Now, the effect on food utilization, we can see the climate change will also have a detrimental effect on food utilization, thus diminishing the nutrition status for the poor and vulnerable groups. For instance, the high temperature can foster the resilience and spread of pathogens, while water scarcity reduces water quality and inhibits good hygiene habits, leading to the spread of disease. The climate impacts could increase the burden of diarrhea by up to 10% by 2030 in some regions, reported by FAO 2016, and the most severely affected would be poor children. The climate change will affect nutrition status in many other ways, from reduction in care giving and the nutrient content of staple food crops to higher risk to food contamination. So, the last pillar, food stability, is affected as the climate variability and the higher frequency and intensity of extreme weather events will affect the stability of food availability and its access and utilization through changes in seasonality. The more pronounced fluctuation in ecosystem productivity increase supply risk and reduce supply predictability. So these will be a major problem, especially for landlocked countries and small island states, which are more vulnerable to both food supply disruption and damages from extreme climate events. So this climatic change is just one of several drivers now shaping trends in poverty and food security. This prevalence of poverty and food security and the severity of climatic change impacts on them will be determined largely by future social and economic development. This table shows the type of climate related risk and potential impacts on agricultural producers. So there are some type of risks which shows the three type of consequences. First is economic consequences, second is food security consequences, and third is long term consequences. So, the first input price risk and seeds availability as a risk shows reduced income for farmers in economic consequences and reduced availability of food in food security consequences. As a long term consequences, it shows only the extent it affects investments. The output price decreases shows reduced income for farmers as economic consequences, reduced food access due to decrease in farmers' incomes as food security consequences, and reduced incentives for investment as long term consequences. Now, the further weather shock risk shows likely crop failure or yield reduction as economic consequences, reduced food availability as food security consequences, and the depending on type of shocks and production, it can lead to loss of productive assets which shows long term consequences. The another risk, plant pest and diseases, shows as economic consequences is that reduced yield and reduced food availability potential impacts on food safety as per utilization shows food security consequences, and the long term consequences shows the loss of productive capital and assets potential trade barriers. At last, the animal disease risk shows reduction in the production as economic consequences, and the food security consequences shows reduced availability of food, and at last the long term consequences shows the disease could last, loss of productive asset and potential trade barriers. So these are the climate related risks and their potential impact on agriculture producers in three different consequences. So now we further go in the last slide as a conclusion. Now I am concluded the whole lecture in this slide as conclusion. So we see the climate change and their implication on agriculture production, food and nutritional security at global level. It is the evident that climate change will bring a major change around the world. This climate change will affect not only the food supply and nutritional availability to humans, but also the sustainability of crop production, standards in livestock productions, and harmony of socio-economic environments. So the future increase in agriculture production, productivity and profitability is extremely important to maintain harmonies among different stakeholders at village, district, province, national and international levels. The utilization of available genetic diversity in general and crop wild relatives specifically has not been used extensively and intensively to raise the genetic yield potential of different field crops globally. The climatic change and biodiversity are closely linked and each impacts the other. Biodiversity is threatened by human induced climatic change, but biodiversity reduces the impact of climatic change. So the presence of healthy biodiversity builds natural resilience to climate extremes. For example, forests are nature's social security check in time of disaster and crisis. They also act as a sink for harmful greenhouse gas emissions. So in years to come, it is important that increasing world population get the sufficient nutritive food for the survival of mankind. It is possible only when the genetic yield potential of future varieties is increased significantly by crop professionals, sustained by farming communities and supported by cropping managers globally. So these are the all my concluding remarks, and thank you very much to hearing to me and I hope the all of participants get understand the what actual climatic change effects on the agricultural sectors and in the food security and nutrition. So thank you very much to all audience, and best of luck for the further training lectures. Thank you very much.